This year will be Lewis Hamilton's 15th Canadian Grand Prix, a race where in the 14 times before that he's raced at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, he's stood on the podium 10 times. The other 4 races are made up of a 5th place and 3 retirements. And 7 of those Canada podiums were wins. And for the first of them Canadian Grand Prix wins, it was his first ever F1 race win, all the way back in 2007. He lined up on pole position for the start that day, his first ever pole position, with his teammate and man who he was tied with at the top of the standings at the time, Fernando Alonso, alongside. Nick Heidfeld was behind in P3, followed by the 12 Ferraris of Kimi Raikkonen and Felipe Massa rounding out the top 5. So Hamilton would his work cut out for him to get that first win, but given he'd stood on the podium in all the last 5 races he'd done in F1 up to that point, he was more than up for the challenge. When the lights went out for the start, Hamilton got a good start, but so did Alonso, who tried to go over the lead round the outside of turn 1, but it didn't quite work out because he failed to actually turn the car, so he ended up instead exploring the runoff area, only just avoiding Hamilton when he rejoined as the Brit exited turn 2, having successfully kept his P1 place at the start. At the end of lap 1, Hamilton already had a lead of around a second and a half, a great opening lap for the rookie to help him give him a buffer to the cars behind. Over the opening laps, he kept on extending that gap out, slowly building up his lead over Heidfeld behind, and by lap 9, he had a lead of 5.5 seconds. He truly was flying out front, lapping so much quicker than anybody else, and that gap was over 10 seconds by the time lap 15 came. It was evidently clear this was Hamilton's race to lose. The pit stop started at the end of lap 20 when Nick Heidfeld pitted for 2nd place. McLaren didn't really have too much to worry about though, because Hamilton had a large lead over the German, and they waited a lap or two before responding with Hamilton pitting at the end of lap 22 from the lead, and he exited on track in P4, but he was still in the net race lead. The 3 cars ahead of him still had to stop. But it was right on his out lap 23, when the first safety car came out for Sutil hitting the wall and leaving some debris on track. Alonso and Rosberg were able to get into the pits before the pit lane closed, or well, we thought. They both later got 10-second stop-go penalties because they did not get in before it closed. But in the immediate, they didn't gain position over Hamilton, who remained in the net race lead. Massa is still yet to stop ahead of him, having had to wait for the pit lane to reopen. When the pits did eventually reopen, Massa, who actually later got disqualified for this pit stop, did dive into the pits, which he handed the actual race lead back to Lewis. If you're thinking, how the hell did Massa get disqualified over a pit stop? The red light was on when he left the pits, and he went through that red light. He got disqualified for it. And that lead is a lead that Hamilton did keep after the restart at the beginning of lap 27, which was good because that meant he could start to build his lead back up, which he lost with a safety car. Or well, he could have if Robert Kubica hadn't have had a massive shunt just before turn 10, which brought the safety car right back out. That's the crash that ended up ruling him out of the 2007 US Grand Prix, of course, which gave us the debut of this 19-year-old German guy named Sebastian Vettel. I wonder what happened to him. The safety car was out for quite a few laps, and racing got back underway at the start of lap 34. And like the last restart, Hamilton kept his lead, and he kinda caught Heidfeld napping because the gap was 1.9 seconds between them at the very restart. Though mind you, Hamilton was basically on the safety car's arse, but whatever. Once again, he'd be looking to build his lead back up, to again give himself a cushion to the cars behind. And that's exactly what he did, extending the gap up to 4.4 seconds by lap 37, and then 6.4 come the end of lap 42. He wasn't running on hiding like he was a 4, but he was just able to keep a good gap to the cars ahead of him as he continued to lead as the laps ticked on down. Heidfeld initiated the second stops of the top runners when he came into the pit lane at the end of lap 47. But like the last stop sequence, McLaren didn't exactly hit to worry because they did have a gap of around 7 seconds or so, but they responded right away, pulling Hamilton in at the end of lap 48, and as expected, he rejoined not only in the race lead, but in the actual race lead, because he still had a big enough gap to do so. And now with a comfortable lead and only 22 laps remaining in the race, all Hamilton had to do was keep his concentration, keep it cleaning out the barriers, and bring it in for his first race win. But the rest of the grid had other ideas because the safety car was back out for the 3rd time of the afternoon on lap 51. Once again eroding the lead that Hamilton had, and this time it was for debris on track. The race got going again at the start of lap 55, and now all Hamilton had to do was keep his concentration up, keep it clean and out the barriers, and bring it home. But Vitantonio Liuzzi had other ideas when he decided of a small meeting with the Wall of Champions, but unfortunately the meeting ended in a bit of a disagreement where Liuzzi decided to take his anger out on the Wall by smashing into it, bringing out the 4th safety car of the day. And I was under that safety car when Trulli also decided to have a meeting with the barriers, but the barriers out turn 2, and again, that also ended in a disagreement where Trulli ended up hitting the Wall in retaliation. When nobody decided to stop paying disagreements with the barriers and we actually got going again, there was only 10 laps left of the race. Only 10 laps left for Hamilton to navigate to bring it home for his first win. Hamilton nailed the restart, no one else crashed, and for there, that was it. Heidfeld just could not keep up with Hamilton. Nobody could. Hamilton, who'd been quick all afternoon, who'd been quick all season really, and that afternoon building up a lead repeatedly, only to have it taken away by someone else falling off the rudder, debris on track. But after all the chaos of the afternoon, after the 70th tour of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Lewis Hamilton crossed the finish line to claim his first Formula 1 race victory in only his 6th F1 race. The lead commentator, James Allen, said in the closing meters of the race, if he can do this after 6 races, what might he achieve in the future? Well, how's about 7 world championships, 66 fastest laps, 4,681.5 total points, 104 poles, 197 podiums, and 103 race wins. And counting. Of course. What kind of Hamilton can add to that 103 wins total this year, but with the way Ferrari are trending, he'll surely be adding to that total once we see the Brit in Ferrari red next year. And as for this weekend's race, well, 2024 hasn't been the kindest season to Lewis so far, so the relationship between him and Mercedes seems to be bracking doing a mare as the season goes on. But I am of the opinion that if this man cannot get a good result in Canada, one of his best tracks, you know something is wrong. This is an opinion I've had for a while. I stand by it. If Hamilton does not get a good result this weekend, then we know something is wrong. I'm gonna leave this one here though, so link in your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.